Hello everyone, you're with Business Insider. I'm Sriram Iyer, and you're watching our special series Budget Insider. And the special guest today that we have, KK Mistry, the CEO of HDFC, India's largest home loan provider. And to say that, I mean, real estate is such an important sector, and home buyers have been watching this budget with a lot of anticipation, and so were the developers. But here's a man who's running one of the most influential companies in this space, and so he has uh, a lot of insight into both sides of the equation, the supply and the demand. And so let's start with you, Mr. Mistry, before we go into your earnings as well. That it's been an important day, right, a day after your earnings. So we'll get into that in just a bit. But let's first address all the queries from the home buyers. I mean, really, was this budget something exciting? Was there anything exciting for them? I know there is a tax break that continues, but there was nothing new. Was it enough?
I think it is enough. I think the important thing is that the government has done a lot of things for the housing sector over the years. For example, the interest that is payable on a housing loan was in earlier years deductible to the extent of only 5,000, then it became 7,500, 15,000, 30,000, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 50. So the amount kept progressing. Today, the amount which is deductible is 2 lakh rupees a year for interest. And if you are taking a property or if you are buying a property where the cost is less than 45 lakhs, then there is an additional deduction of 1 lakh 50,000, which you can get only if the loan is approved prior to 31st March 2022. So earlier this was 21, it has been extended by 1 year. Also, the principal repayment of a housing loan is tax deductible up to a certain limit. And then there is, of course, the government CLSS scheme, which I think is an outstanding scheme, where if you're a first-time home buyer, and typically this would apply in the affordable housing segment, you get a subsidy from the government. So up to 3% of the loan amount with a certain cap is the amount of subsidy that is provided by the government upfront to the lender, which then goes towards reducing a loan amount. So I think from the government side, they've done a lot to encourage people to buy houses. Interest rates are at an all-time low. Some developers were offering concessions, 3%, 5%, 7% discount if you buy a property during the COVID time. So all in all, in terms of affordability, this has been a great time. And I don't think you can expect too much more from the government. They've also
Hmm.
done like, amending the definition of what, where tax is levied. So when you're selling a property and there is a difference between the market price per the ready reckoner and the uh, price at which the transaction happens, straight away it was subject to tax. Now there is a gap that only if the excess is above a certain level will there be a tax. So there are a lot of these little things which have been done.
So your borrowers are also home buyers and developers, and but the developers had to put it very mildly, a very big sob story before going into this budget. So you have to worry about both of them because you need your money back. What is the health of the developers? And of course, home loan disbursement has increased as per your latest numbers, 26% jump in individual home loans in the October to December 2020 quarter, 26% more than the year before. uh, I mean, the demand is definitely there. What is the health of the developers looking like?
So you can't really generalize on what the health of the developer is. I think the bigger people, the bigger developers have probably become a little bigger during this period. And there are obviously a few developers and a few projects in cities like Mumbai and Delhi and a couple of other places which are stuck, which are 70, 75% completed and are not getting last mile funding to complete the project. So in some of these projects, we have seen larger developers stepping in and taking over the mantle or the liability of sort of completing the project. So things are today better, much better than what they were 6 or 9 months ago. But can I say that the stress is completely over? The answer is no. But I can certainly say that things are better today than what they were 6 or 9 months ago.
So,
That's as far as developers are
so the
concerned. What was
most
the other
often
question?
used phrase these days is pre-COVID level. So, how far is the pre-COVID level for real estate from the developer side? The demand is definitely back.
I mean, if the demand is back, then from a developer's perspective, everything will start looking better, now, because
Hmm.
what the developer is constructing with the idea of sales. So if sales
Hmm.
are happening, then obviously the position is better. See, you have to look between large developers, small developers, not so well-known developers. So it's very difficult for me to generalize and give you, one fit all kind of answer. The bigger developers are certainly not under any stress at all. Some of the developers where projects were stuck, some of those projects have come out of the problem either because of the ESLGS scheme that the government announced or because of bigger developers coming over and taking over the mantle of completing the project. But there are still obviously some of the stressed developers who have not got out of it. So position better than what it was earlier, but still not completely out of the mess.
Fantastic. Do you think this? I mean, a lot of people are also saying that this is just a flash in the pan spike in demand. Are you more sanguine? Are you more optimistic?
Look, I would put it this way that the structural demand for housing in India will always be strong for a variety of reasons. Firstly, housing is today a lot more affordable than it has ever been in history. Because in the last 4 years, leave aside the last 3 or 4 months, but generally over the last 4 years, income levels have been kept increasing. Property prices really have not increased. If anything, they've decreased. So therefore, in terms of the cost of a house as a multiple of the annual income of a home buyer, it has got better and better. Secondly, if you look at penetration levels in India, world over, what people look at when they look at housing is what is the penetration level. Now, what is the definition of penetration? Penetration means the total amount of housing loans outstanding as a percentage of the GDP. When you look at that number in India, it is 10%. If you were to look at this number in the US, it is over 50%. UK is over 50%, 50. China is in the high 20s. India is only 10%. So we have such a low level of penetration that in the weeks, months, years to come, that number can only grow.
No, so there is
Thirdly,
also.
if you look
Yeah, finish your thought, Mr. Mistry. I don't want to interrupt.
that India has a young population. 2/3 of India's population is below 20s. So the average age of a first-time home buyer in India is about 37 or 38 years. And with 2/3 of the population being below 35 years, what that really means is that 2/3 of the population not even thought of buying a house. But over the next 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 years, all these younger people will get to an age where they will necessarily have to buy a house. So my view is always that the structural demand for housing in India will always remain strong. Now, there might be periods of time during a quarter or more than a quarter in some instances where the growth is lower, but I think structural growth will be high. Over the last
That's a fair amount of optimism over a longer period of time. I think what worries a lot of people is there are two narratives in the economy, right? There is unemployment, there is job losses, salary cuts, consumer confidence. Even the RBI data says is down. But also, folks like you are able to show a strong demand for their home loans, etc. I don't know if there is data inside your earnings that shows that this section of the society is more confident, is back buying homes. Maybe affordable segment, people are not that confident. I don't know what the number is. Maybe you can throw some light on that.
Well, I would say that if you look at the average loan size, to give you some instance, a year ago our average loan size was 27,70,000 rupees. This year our average loan size has been 28,50,000 rupees. So the average loan size has gone up. If we were to look only at the third quarter of the financial year, which is October to December 2020, then the average loan amount has gone to 30 lakh rupees, which therefore means that the demand is coming not just in the affordable housing segment, the demand is come back into the middle income, little higher income bracket, where for the last 3-4 years the demand has been slow. So in the affordable housing segment, the demand was always high, continues to remain high. It used to account for about 18% of our total loans in a period. This 9-month period, it has been 17%, so significantly different. Increase in the average means that the higher value, the middle income, the higher upper middle income people are also looking to buy properties.
That's amazing. So, do you think from a regulatory standpoint, or let me not go into regulations, rather competition standpoint, let's first address the competition, because this optimism is definitely shared by other NBFCs who are coming into the market, others who are expanding. you nearly control, I think, 45% of the market, right? Like just a little less than half of every home loan made in India goes from HDFC. If that data is incorrect, do correct me, Mr. Mistry. That's the latest data that I have. Is there an improvement, and what is your strategy going to be to sort of, battle this competition?
Well,
Where
first
do
of
you
all,
see your edge?
let me tell you that whether it is half the loans coming to us or more or less, I mean, there is no data to sort of substantiate that. But yes, we have a reasonably good market share.
Hmm.
Why I remain confident too that the demand for housing for India will remain strong is that no competitor needs to do anything which is disruptive to the market simply because everyone has a scope to grow. It's not that we are new to competition. Competition has always been there. The big banks are our real competitors. State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, and the likes are really the ones who compete most with
Hmm.
us. But we've had this competition for a very, very,
Forever.
very long time,
No,
for
but
several years.
recently there are reports. People are saying that the interest rates have been driven down so low, not just by RBI, by competition as well. The liquidity was high. There wasn't enough demand. Do you think is it going to further go down, or should home buyers wait for even cheaper rates? Maybe I
I
don't
think,
know.
first of all, you said that it's competition that is driving down interest rates. That is an incorrect statement. If
Huh.
competition was driving down rates, then everyone's spreads would be showing lower or everyone's net interest margin should have shown a hit, which is not the case.
Hmm.
So interest rates have come down because funding costs have come down. The
Hmm.
lending rates is nothing but a function of cost of funds.
Hmm.
We have been saying for a very long time that we probably reached the bottom of the interest rate cycle. Not today, but as far back as 2 or 3 months ago.
Hmm.
I don't think RBI will be in a position to cut interest rates going forward. My
Hmm.
personal view is that the current interest rate scenario broadly will remain the same for the next few months, and then maybe in the second half of the year, RBI may review the liquidity position, the inflation position, and then take a call on what they need to do on interest rates. But at least for the first few months, I would expect interest rates to remain more or less the same. Now, that does not mean that if the cost of funding reduces a little bit, someone does a 5 basis points cut here and there or a 5 basis points increase here or there. Those are
Hmm.
not material numbers. But anything substantive change in interest rates, I don't expect in the coming few months.
So somebody I was talking to was also highlighting this interesting point. Maybe you would be more articulate in this in explaining this. Talking about real estate, we should not just talk about exactly what is the direct impact, right? Like something like metro rail projects that are being sanctioned, land sale that the government is planning to do. All of these will sort of try to prop up prices in different parts of the country. I mean, is that the right way to look at it? And what do you think will be the impact of these kind of things on real estate? I mean, the prices going up, maybe demand coming back, or is it going to be unaffordable and people sit back and say, okay, I'll wait now?
No, no, I don't think it's going to become unaffordable. I think
Hmm.
affordability has improved so much if you really look at it in the last 3.5 or 4 years, that
Hmm.
even for a moment you assume that prices do inch up a little bit, it will still be
Hmm.
very, very affordable because in the last 3 4 years prices have not gone up, income levels have gone up
Hmm.
substantially. I don't think
Hmm.
that's the case. I think more land coming to the market will actually pull prices a little lower, marginally lower, because there can be more supply that comes to the market.
Hmm.
Over the last 3 years or 3.5 years, the demand for high-end properties, upper middle class properties has been slow, has been weak. And therefore, you've not seen that many new projects getting launched. But now that that demand is coming back, you would probably over the next 3 to 6 months see more middle class, upper middle class type of projects getting launched in the big cities. Having said that, the focus on affordable housing is always going to continue because that there is an inherent demand.
But what is your focus? What is your which space do you like the most? Affordable,
We
most
are
certainly.
we do everything. I gave you our average loan amount earlier, if you heard me, when
Yeah,
I said that
yeah,
the
yeah.
average amount is
No, but I
99.
think going forward, is there? Do you see a sort of
Can I
this
can I
versus
can I
that?
yeah, can I complete, please?
Yeah,
Our
yeah, sure.
average loan amount for the first 9 months was 28.5 lakhs. Our average loan to value ratio is 67-68%, which means we are looking to fund properties which are typically in the 40-42 lakh rupee range. Now, some of these are in the tier one cities, where tier one cities 40-42 lakh would still be in the affordable housing segment. Sorry, now you had a question.
No, that's okay. I think you answered. I mean, I do remember that 27, 28, 30, the progression that you shared with us. But I was asking from a strategy point of view. Every business has its own, every company looks at it differently. Of course, you are a giant in this space, so you would look at all of them. So I take that point. So my last question to you then would be, because you spoke about the higher end, upper middle class apartments and properties which were not selling. And one of the things that this government has been pushing for is to bring prices down. Do you think that has happened, or is there more to correct in that space?
No, I think it has happened because, as I told you, in the last 4 years, you've not seen property prices go up at all. If anything, you've seen property prices come down.
But
And
many,
in reality,
if I
in
may,
reality, yeah, sure.
I would say many people argue that it hasn't come down enough, especially in cities like Bombay, etc. Even in terms of rentals, also some parts you see some sharp fall. Most parts there isn't much.
So rental is a function of the value of a property because whoever is providing the property on rent is looking at a certain, the return is not very high. So if the property value goes up, the rent will also go up. Property value comes down, the rent will come down. So in the last 4 years, prices have come down a little bit. If you're talking of Mumbai, they've come down a little bit, but not very significantly. But you
Yeah.
have to factor in that in the last 4 years, every year there is inflation. And when there is inflation, normally one would expect that prices would move in line with inflation. So if prices have not moved in line with inflation, then effectively there has been a time correction in prices. And in actual prices have also come down. So a combination of a reduction in actual prices and a time value reduction in prices would make housing more affordable, or would have made
Fantastic.
housing more affordable.
Superb. Thanks a lot. I'm going to summarize what you said, and so that you can correct me if I got anything wrong. Real estate demand is back, and it is back on across segments. For you, the disbursement sizes are going up to 30 lakhs in the last quarter, which means the people are buying higher priced homes as well. Which means real estate developers also have something positive to look forward to. If the demand is back, then maybe there will be more projects coming in. However, for home buyers, what they should look at is also the amount of land supply that the government is planning to bring to the market. Also, there will be newer projects like Kochi Metro, Hyderabad projects, smart city projects, a lot of things that are coming up. Maybe if you're looking at property as an investment, then these are areas that you can consider because the value of these properties are likely to go up once these projects take off. So far as price fall is concerned, don't wait for the price to fall too much more because there has been a time correction, as Mr. Mistry explained. If you consider, ideally with every year's inflation, property prices should have gone up, but they didn't. And over the last 3-4 years, if you account for inflation, it is an effective fall in prices. And will home loan interest rates go further down? Mr. Mistry believes maybe not so much, maybe a little bit because of the cost of funds from one company to another, which may differ. But there may not be a sharp fall in interest rates hereafter. So if you are looking to buy homes, maybe now is the time, is what Mr. Mistry says.
Very well summarized. I would say that when you're talking of interest rates, it can be a negligible 5-10 basis points here and there for some bank or the other, but nothing very significant. And when we talked of property prices, yes, time correction, of course, is there, but also in reality, in some of the cities, prices have come down. So if you had bought an apartment in 2015 or 2016, let's say, and you went in July to buy an apartment, the actual price would have been lower. Forget about time correction. In addition to time correction, price would have been lower.
Super. Thank you so much, Mr. Mistry, for taking time out and being part of this conversation on Business Insider. And we look forward to having a chat with you sooner than later. Thank you so again. This is Sriram Iyer signing off.
Thank you. Bye-bye.